Today is August the 16th. What do you think is Jesus' most famous quote? Let's find out together as we look at Jesus' teaching. It's hard to say what Jesus' most famous quote is. Many people believe that it's actually the quote that we have come to know as the Golden Rule. The Golden Rule seems to have taken on a life of its own. Do unto others as you would have them do to you, or just simply treat others like you want them to treat you. This actually comes from Matthew chapter 7, verse 12. It's part of the Sermon on the Mount. It's repeated in Luke 6:31, the Sermon on the Plain, in Matthew 7:12. Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. This is the essence of all that's taught in the law and the prophets. We've come to know this as the Golden Rule. The name was attributed to it sometime in the 17th century, 1600 and something. Theologians and preachers began to refer to this as the Golden Rule. Now, the interesting thing is that it has given rise to a couple of corollaries. The Silver Rule: don't do to others what you don't want them to do to you. That actually we can find in the Old Testament, even in intertestamental literature, in the book of Tobias, chapter 4, verse 6. Again, not scripture, but you could find it in the Apocrypha, the literature written between the two testaments. Tobias's father gives him advice for life, and one of the maxims that he gives his son is, don't do to others what you don't want them to do to you. Then, of course, we have the Platinum Rule: do to others or treat others the way they want to be treated. The Golden Rule, as we have it, exists in a number of different settings, a number of different cultures. Buddhism, Confucianism, Hinduism, they all have versions of the Golden Rule. Do to others as you would have them do to you. Now, where it occurs here in the Sermon on the Mount, if you'll notice, starting in chapter 7, chapters 5 and 6 are extensive, coherent arguments, things that Jesus begins to teach about. When he comes to chapter 7, he begins to put string together sayings. Don't judge so you don't be judged. Don't throw what is holy before the pigs. Ask and you'll receive. Enter through the narrow gate. This is a common thing in Jesus' time. We see it at the end of the epistles when Paul writes. At the very end, he strings together a series of instructions, life hacks, if you would. This is called a paranesis. It literally means little things that are put together just at the very end. Now, the interesting thing about Jesus and the Golden Rule is once he gives the Golden Rule, he says, all the law and the prophets can be summed up in this one saying. This is the essence of everything that's taught in the law and the prophets. There's one other time he said that. The young man came to Jesus and said, what's the most important command? And Jesus said, love God, love your neighbor. This is the sum of everything that's found in the law and the prophets. Do to others, treat others the way you want to be treated, love God, love your neighbor. You can see the relationship there. These two things are definitely related to each other. So the question for you today is, where are you going to apply it? Who in your life do you need to treat like you would like them to treat you today? Spend some time in prayer about that. Identify a person and then go do to them what you really hope someone will do to you when you're in a similar situation. Like, follow, and subscribe to this devotional on whatever platform you used to listen to it. Email your questions to us at questions@becomehope.com. Tomorrow, we'll answer the question, what does it mean to be as wise as serpents?